What if your month-end close took days less without giving up a single control? I'm Jennifer, and this is AI Automation for Finance Teams, the Governed Playbook. Let's get into it. Here's the reality on the ground. In recent benchmarks, half of finance teams take 6 or more business days to close the books, and about 1 in 4 takes more than a week. Cash reconciliation alone can eat 20 to 50 hours a month. 94% of teams still lean on spreadsheets, and fewer than 40% of closed tasks are automated. And when you look for help, most AI content is either hype or a product demo. None of it survives contact with your real world, controls, auditors, and sign-offs. This video is different. It's the Governed Playbook. 5 real workflows where AI saves serious hours with a human approval on every number. Here's the plan. First, the golden rule that makes everything else safe. The one principle that separates governed AI from a compliance incident. Then, 5 workflows, each shown on screen. Reconciliations, the close checklist and accruals, variance analysis, reporting, and documentation. After that, the part almost nobody covers, what your auditor will actually ask about AI this year, and the house rules that answer those questions before they're asked. And we'll finish with the classic mistakes and a 30-day starter plan. Stick around. The auditor section alone can save you a very uncomfortable meeting. Let's name the problem honestly. AI adoption in finance is real. Gartner's latest survey puts it at 59% of finance functions. But here's the number nobody quotes. 91% of those same teams report only low or moderate impact so far. Why? Because most advice is tool first, not control first. A clever prompt that looks great in a demo dies the moment it meets segregation of duties, review evidence, and an audit trail. Finance isn't marketing. Every number needs an owner. The answer isn't less AI. It's AI wrapped inside the controls you already trust. That's what the next 20 minutes are about. Everything in this video sits on one rule. AI drafts, humans approve, and nothing posts itself. The AI prepares the work. The matches, the journal entry drafts, the variance narratives, the memos, always with its reasoning and its sources attached. A named human reviews the draft against evidence, edits it, or rejects it. And only an authorized person approves and posts, with every step logged. Keep that one rule, and AI becomes just another well-controlled preparer on your team. Break it, and you've built an ungoverned tool your auditor will, rightly, tear apart. Hold on to that phrase. Governed control versus ungoverned tool. It comes back at the end with your auditor's actual checklist. So where does AI actually earn its keep? 3 zones. First, the repetitive. Matching and tie-outs, bank reconciliations, card settlements, intercompany. High volume, clear rules. Ideal for a draft and review loop. Second, the formulaic. Accruals and standard entries. Payroll, prepaids, where the method is the same every month and the basis is documented. Third, and this is the one people underestimate, the written work. Variance narratives, accounting memos, audit documentation. Drafting clear, cited prose from structured data is what this technology does best. Notice what's not on the list. Judgment calls, estimates requiring management intent, and anything you can't verify. Those stay yours. Let's take the 5 workflows one at a time. Workflow 1. Reconciliations. The single biggest time sink in most closes. The governed pattern looks like this. The AI takes the bank statement, the ledger detail, and the settlement files, and matches everything routine. Usually well over 90% of lines. For the handful that don't match, it writes a plain English explanation. What the item is, what it probably relates to, and what the likely fix is, with its reasoning attached. Then, the human part. You review 3 exceptions instead of ticking 400 lines. Your hours move from finding the problems to judging them. Let me show you what that looks like. Here's the cash reconciliation in a governed AI workspace. This is a mock-up, but it mirrors how these tools behave. On the left, the December operating account. 415 lines, 412 matched automatically. The 3 exceptions are flagged in red, and the difference is exactly stated. Now look at the review queue. Exception 1. A check that cleared the bank with no ledger entry. The AI found the matching rent invoice recorded in January and suggests a cutoff reclass. Exception 2. A $42 merchant fee variance, consistent with higher card volume, below your policy threshold. Exception 3 is the important one. A deposit in transit the AI cannot verify, so it doesn't guess. It holds the item for evidence and asks for your call. Every suggestion is a draft with reasoning attached. Nothing posts until you approve it, and the whole trail is logged. Work 2. The close itself. 2 things change when you add governed AI. First, the checklist becomes live. Every task has an owner, dependencies are visible, and the AI keeps status current. So the daily stand-up stops being an archaeology dig. Second, routine tasks stop arriving blank. The payroll accrual, the prepaid amortization, the recurring entries. They arrive as drafts, computed from source data, with the basis stated and last month's comparison attached. Preparer and approver stay separate people, so segregation of duties is preserved exactly as your controls require. Here's the close checklist on day 2. Here's the December close on day 2. Again, a mock-up of the governed pattern. Left side, 34 tasks, 21 done. The bank recs are finished, depreciation is running, and 1 task is genuinely blocked. Revenue cutoff is waiting on an operations file, and the checklist says so, with a named owner. Right side is the part that saves real hours. The payroll accrual has arrived as a draft journal entry. Look at what comes with it: the debits and credits, the basis, 2 of 10 working days at the December run rate, per your policy. The same method as last month, the backup file attached, and the variance explained. Up 4.1% because of 2 new hires. Your reviewer checks it, edits if needed, and approves. The draft never posts itself. That's a task that used to take an hour, reduced to a 5-minute review, with better documentation than before. Quick pause. If this playbook is earning its keep so far, take 1 second to hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell. It helps the channel more than you'd think. Okay, variance analysis. The workflow finance managers tell me they want automated most. Workflow 3. Variance analysis. The flux file. Here's the governed pattern. You set the thresholds exactly as you do today. Say $50,000 or 10%. For every line that breaches them, the AI drafts the explanation from actual sources: general ledger detail, purchase orders, the corporate calendar. Every number in the narrative cites the document it came from, and crucially, it separates what it can explain from what it can't. An approved campaign that drove marketing over budget is context. An unfamiliar vendor charge with no purchase order is a flag, surfaced to you, not papered over. Then, a human signs the narrative because your name goes on that flux file, not the robot's. Watch. Here's the December P&L against budget. 5 lines breached the threshold. Marketing is the big one, up 38%. Now read the draft narrative on the right. The AI traced it. A holiday campaign approved in purchase order 8841, $150,000, approved November 14th. Plus a January ad prepayment recognized in December under journal entry 1188. Strip out the approved campaign, and paid media actually ran within 1% of budget. That's a board-ready explanation, drafted in seconds, with every number linked to its source. But here's my favorite part, the red box. One $3,000 charge from a new vendor had no purchase order. The AI doesn't invent a story for it, it flags it. I could not explain this from the data. That honesty is exactly what you want, because a plausible-sounding guess in a flux file is far more dangerous than a flag. Workflow 4. Reporting. Once the numbers are closed, someone has to turn them into the monthly pack, commentary, KPI summaries, the board sections. Governed AI drafts that recurring pack from your closed, approved numbers in your house style in minutes. And it adds something humans are genuinely bad at after a long close: consistency checking. Does every figure in the deck tie back to the ledger? Does the commentary on page 4 contradict the chart on page 11? The AI checks every cross-reference and never gets bored. But finance keeps the pen on the final story. The AI proposes the what. You decide the so what that goes in front of leadership. Reporting is judgment wearing a spreadsheet's clothes. The judgment stays human. Workflow 5, and honestly, the most underrated. Documentation. Every controller knows the gap between what we did and what we wrote down. Governed AI closes it. Accounting memos get drafted at the moment the entry is made. The basis, the method, the policy it follows, the sources, while it's all fresh. Desk procedures and the close runbook update when the process changes, not 11 months later during onboarding. And audit season transforms because the evidence was organized as you went. The request list items, the tie-outs, the approval trails, already there, not reconstructed from memory in March. Here's what an AI-drafted memo with a real approval trail looks like. This is the memo behind that payroll accrual from earlier. Purpose, method, comparison. Each section written in plain English, and every claim carries a source chip: the payroll register, the accrual policy, last month's entry, the HR roster. A reviewer can click any number and land on its evidence. Now the right side, the part your auditor will love. The trail shows 3 steps. The AI prepared the draft at 9:41, flagging one question it couldn't answer from policy: the bonus timing. The senior accountant reviewed it, verified the start dates against offer letters, and resolved the bonus question with a documented decision. The controller approved and posted. Preparer, reviewer, approver, with the AI's role explicitly logged. That's not just faster documentation, that's better evidence than most teams produce by hand. Now, the section that separates this video from the hype: governance. Auditors have caught up, and their first question is the one from our golden rule. Is your AI a control or a tool? Governed, evidenced, reviewable, or a black box someone pastes numbers into? The second question follows fast. Can you reproduce any AI conclusion? For any entry it touched, show the inputs, the reasoning, the output, the timestamp, and the named human who approved it. If your setup can answer that on demand, you're in great shape. And this is imminent, not theoretical. The PCAOB's amended auditing standard, AS 2201, takes effect for audits of fiscal years beginning after December 15, 2026. And how your automated controls are governed sits right in its crosshairs. Here are the 5 house rules that answer those auditor questions before they're asked. 1. AI never posts. It prepares everything, posts nothing. 2. Named humans review and approve, so accountability never blurs. 3. Enterprise tools only. Your trial balance never goes into a free consumer chatbot. Use tools under a company agreement where your data isn't used for training and access is controlled. 4. Log everything. inputs, drafts, edits, approvals, so any conclusion can be reproduced. And 5, write the policy down. 1 page is enough. Where AI is used, what data it may touch, who reviews what, and how exceptions escalate. 5 rules. That's the difference between an AI program your auditor respects and one they write up. 3 mistakes burn finance teams over and over. First, pasting confidential data into consumer AI tools. The trial balance in a free chatbot isn't a productivity win. It's a data governance incident, and it's the single most common way finance teams get AI banned entirely. Second, letting AI post without review. These models are persuasive and mostly right, which is exactly what makes the occasional confident error dangerous. 1 hallucinated entry in the ledger costs more than a year of saved hours. Third, treating AI output as evidence. A well-written draft is not support. The source documents are support. The AI organizes evidence. It is not evidence. Avoid those 3, and you've dodged the failure modes that generate the horror stories. Here's your 30-day plan. Week 1. Pick exactly 1 workflow, 1 reconciliation, or 1 recurring accrual. Baseline it honestly. Write down the hours it takes today and the errors you catch. Weeks 2 and 3. Run it AI drafted, human approved. Same control steps, same approvers, only the drafting changes. Keep the log of every draft and every edit. That log becomes your audit story. Week 4. Compare. Hours saved, error rate, reviewer confidence. If it wins, and reconciliation or accrual drafting almost always wins, document the result and add the next workflow. That's it. No transformation program, no steering committee. 1 workflow, 1 month, 1 honest measurement. 1 look ahead, so you know this isn't a side quest. This capability is moving straight into the systems you already use. Gartner projects that embedded AI in cloud ERP will drive a 30% faster financial close by 2028, and that 62% of cloud ERP spending will be on AI-enabled solutions by 2027, up from just 14% in 2024. In other words, the drafting layer is becoming standard equipment. The teams that win won't be the ones that pick the perfect tool. Tools will keep changing. They'll be the ones whose governance was ready. Clear review steps, clean logs, named approvers. That discipline transfers to every tool you'll ever buy. Let's land this. 3 things to remember. First, the golden rule. AI drafts, humans approve. Nothing posts itself. That single rule turns AI from an audit risk into a well-controlled preparer on your team. Second, the 5 workflows where the hours really are. Reconciliations, the close checklist and accruals, variance narratives, reporting, and documentation. Each one shown today with a real review and approve pattern and a better paper trail than manual work leaves behind. And third, start with 1 workflow this month. Baseline it, run it governed, measure it honestly. The hours you get back fund everything else. I'm Jennifer, and I make governed, hype-free guides to using AI for real work. If this playbook helped, hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell. And if your company wants AI with enterprise-grade controls, running Claude inside your own AWS account, my complete beginner's guide to Claude on Amazon Bedrock is right here on screen. See you in the next one.